So I know what you're thinking. Where was yesterday's Who Would Win? Well, yesterday's Who Would Win is now today, so you're getting a doubleheader for Halloween. The reason for that is because I live on the East Coast in Massachusetts, and we got hit with a pretty nasty storm on Sunday that knocked the power out for the majority of the day. So that's where the Who Would Win was. It was non-existent. I didn't get around to recording it. So I'm just going to pop them both out today. And Timmy Television asked the question. I believe it was Timmy Television. I'll double check that. I don't have the notes in front of me. Not that I need the notes for this. Who would win in a fight? Myotismon from Digimon versus Dracula. Now, you have to understand, with that question, it is... one second, I'm just adjusting. With that question, Myotismon's easy to do. Write down his effect, abilities, all that. I'm not going to do his Digivolutions because I'll be flat out honest. No incarnation of Dracula could take on the mega Venom Myotismon. That wouldn't happen at all. So we're just going to stick with Myotismon. Just Myotismon. Excuse me. So, but with Myotismon, it's easy. With Dracula, you have to ask the question, which version of Dracula are we using in this? Are we using Bela Lugosi? Are we using fucking Gerard Butler? The actor whose name, Donald Pierce? Not Donald Pierce. You know who I'm talking about. The one from Blade Trainee. Which Dracula are we using? So, instead of one Dracula, we're going to use the four most prevalent and either most iconic or ones that'd be actually suitable in a battle. So, Bela Lugosi is going to be on this list. He's going to be the first Dracula we're going to go up against, or we're putting up against Myotismon. After that, we'll be going Van Helsing, the 2004 movie with Hugh Jackman. After that, we'll be going Blade Trinity's Dracula. And finally, we'll be going Dracula Untold Dracula, one of the most recent incarnations of Dracula. So, starting out, Myotismon he's pretty much a demon Digimon. That Digimon are literally digital monsters from a digital world, but can come into the real world and can affect the presence, all that. Extremely well-mannered and polite, but extremely malevolent and evil. His powers are at the most powerful at night, which is when almost all these are going to have to take place, but are half during the day due to like sunlight and holiness and being a vampire. He's actually capable of resurrecting pretty much corrupt dead Data or killed Digimon as minions. I don't know if that really falls into any real-world applications, technically speaking, but he can do that if they were somehow in a digital plane. Also, he's capable of his couple signature attacks, including Grizzly Wing, which summons a large wave of bats, which attack, and it's kind of weird how they're depicted attacking. Some depictions, like we saw in the anime or cartoon series, show them actually eating things, like when Pumpkinmon tried to use that pumpkin attack, they just ate the giant pumpkin. It seems likely that they will claw, bite, eat. Just the force of the bats will attack them. There's another attack I can't remember exactly, but it pretty much instills terror and mistrust and doubt in an opponent. It's like it creates like a black ghost-like entity that can actually like paralyze you with fear and create trust and doubt. There's also, and of course, there's Crimson Lightning, which is pretty much an energy whip of Crimson Lightning, which, let's be clear, doesn't sound like much. It sounds like something good for grappling and maybe a little energy attack, but this is an attack strong enough to knock over however big Greymon is. However big Greymon is, like normal champion. Let's go. It's Ricky Champion Ultimate Mega, and there's some supposed levels beyond Mega. Let's say Myotismon's he's like super tall. He's like a super tall guy. In fact, he sometimes appears bigger than normal, depending on his powers. But generally speaking, he's like a really tall guy. Let's say around 6 to 7 feet tall. So let's say this is him. Greymon stands roughly like this, and he just pimp slaps Greymon with Crimson Lightning. So do not knock the Crimson Lightning. That is a very is a powerful attack. Now, with Dracula, we'll just go down the list and we'll do each fight individually. Bela Lugosi's Dracula is Dracula. He is a polite gentleman, but he's a monster. He feeds on the blood of the living. He's got superhuman strength, longevity, probably healing ability, senses, shape-shifting, hypnotism. Also, Myotismon has that as well, to a degree. But But, I mean, he's got all the weaknesses of a vampire, like the standard vampire weaknesses. He is, the Bela Lugosi Dracula is the bread and butter poster boy for the standard vampire weaknesses, including sunlight, holy water, garlic, a stake through the heart. Silver, I think, is even, in running water, are both weaknesses that he also has. So in this fight, Bela Lugosi, who was not a tall guy, he was maybe like 5 foot something. Let's just put him at 6 foot. Myotismon probably stands or head taller than him. In a fight, Bela Lugosi or Dracula, yeah, let's be honest, he wouldn't stand a chance against Myotismon. Myotismon can also be out during the day. That's another thing. His power is halved, but he can be out during the day. I mean, physically speaking, he could probably go toe-to-toe with Myotismon for a little bit, but in the long term, Myotismon actually has legitimate attacks and abilities. I mean, maybe he could try to shapeshift, but, then turn to a bat and get away. He's just going to either Crimson Lightning him, smack him down, Grizzly Wing, and then, get caught in a swarm of bats, and they attack that one bat. And then he can just, he's got a blood punch attack, blood punch, boom, and then just punch him through the chest. I don't see any way that Bela Lugosi Dracula beats Myotismon. So that's my thought on that. Fast forward now to the Van Helsing Dracula. We have to assume that guy is also susceptible to sunlight death, but because it's never actual sunlight in the Van Helsing movie, except near the very, very end of the movie, he can be out during the day as long as it's like overcast. Well, I take it back. The sun did come out briefly when the vampires were attacking the town. Point being, though, again, superhuman strength, all the basic contributing vampire abilities. However, he has less. His actual only real known way of being killed, apart from probably sunlight, is a werewolf bite. Because he got staked through the heart with a silver stake, which is generally supposed to hurt and kill vampires. And even just hello, Gabriel. Is this your silver stake? Jink. He melted a cross in his hand, even though it hurt. It definitely hurt. Holy relics and objects certainly hurt him, but they don't kill him. And then, of course, you got to factor in his bat demon form, which is weird as hell. I still don't quite. I get it, kind of, but I still don't. Even I who likes the movie, I'm like, that's weird. So, which enhances his strength, ferocity, he can fly, all that stuff. So, you factor those two in, it's definitely it's an even more even fight, because physically speaking, especially once he goes in full-on demon vampire mode, he could probably physically go toe-to-toe. He might even match Myotismon in terms of strength at that point. So, they're going to duke it out for a while. But really, that's the thing. Only in the demon form is he really going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Myotismon. Thing is, though, he doesn't have any real way of truly killing Myotismon, per se. He's not got an attack. I mean, yeah, he can maybe claw at him and hurt him. But in the end, he can't really do much against him. I mean, again, he can physically hurt Myotismon. Myotismon can just keep him at bay. It was he comes in, just Crimson Lightning, and then, just smashes him down on the ground, just boom, 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 Grizzly Wing. Dracula's not trying to command the bats, but they're Myotis created bats, so it doesn't really work that well. Blood punch, and then mistrust demon entity thing. Long-term wise, yeah, he's is there a way that I guess the answer to the question is there a way that this Dracula beats Myotismon in a fight? I suppose there's a scenario where Myotismon gets his head taken off by a quick just swipe, but long term, no. I'll give it 95% to 5% in favor of Myotismon. There's that 5% chance there. Cut now to the Blade Trainee Dracula. This is a very different Dracula because this Dracula, unlike the others, is genetically perfect. He has no discernible weaknesses. No weaknesses to garlic, silver, or sunlight. He can be out during the day all he wants. Also, he has fangs on the bottom of his jaws, which I thought was weird. And then, of course, when he goes into full Dracula mode, he's like this demon-barbed monstrosity-looking thing. Also, another key difference between the two Draculas we just went through, this guy is actually a warrior. This guy he carries a sword, which, by the way, say what you will about the movie. I don't hate it's the weakest of the blades, but I don't hate it. I do like his sword. It's like that cool, made from the bone of something with that just giant blade. That was a cool looking sword. So yeah, and he's actually a warrior. Now, can he fly? I don't think so. Is he physically far powerful than a normal vampire or anything else? Sure, absolutely. Um, so yeah, he's certainly a stronger version of Dracula than what we've had in some of these movies. So what would this fight take? I actually think this fight would take place during the day, whereas Dracula's been hearing about Myotismon's rampaging through the real world, and he actually confronts him during the day, where Myotismon would actually be at half strength. Now, in that case, in just base form, he's smaller. Definitely, he's smaller than Myotismon. Myotismon would definitely have attacks that would keep him at bay, Grizzly Wing, all that. But Dracula would just swipe with his sword, probably take out a lot of the bats and crush them. Just it's like, and he screamed and rolled out his razor, like, and then starts swinging in with his sword, just Myotismon's he's getting out of the way, maybe trying to put fear and mistrust in with that attack, but he's a freaking beast of a warrior, so he's just going forth. Then he's Crimson Lightning, grabs the sword, just yanks it, and then just Black Punch, boom, just smashes him into a building. He's and I can't remember much dialogue. He sounded very gentlemanly, Myotismon, blah 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 blah. But then all of a sudden he hears the noise of him getting out of the thing, and all of a sudden he just sees him, and then he hears that roar, just, and then even Myotismon's like, and then he gets his sword, picks up his sword, and just comes in and just starts coming in again. Now, Myotismon could easily just keep out of the way, keep his distance, and then fight from a distance, which honestly he probably would, being at half power. Unfortunately, at that point, only the Crimson Lightning would probably hurt that Dracula at this point, because the bats wouldn't do a damn. His skin was their blade couldn't do a damn. He was punching them, just boom, and they just boom. And Blade's already about as strong as a normal vampire, if not stronger. And it took being hit by a bolt of like a specially made virus to put him down. So basically, it's going to be a fight at a distance. And Myotismon, again, this can't be a scenario where they flee. They got to be fighting. So Crimson Lightning, and then tries to grab sword, but this time he's holding on. It's a bit of a pull. Grabs the lightning, just pulls Myotismon down. Myotismon now is flying down. Like, whoa! Then he comes in and slashes a sword on Myotismon. Myotismon is now injured, but then he grabs him by the head and boom, smashes him in the ground, kind of drags him, and then just Grizzly Wing, and then pushes him back a couple good yards. Dracula gets up again. Now Myotismon's hurting, and it's during the day. He's now, he can't heal the same way he normally could, just from rest and blood and whatnot. So now he's he's realizing this guy could actually hurt. This guy can maybe kill me. And just comes in and gets like, you ready to die, bloodsucker. I'm using the censor version just because lately YouTube's been flagging any video they have deemed inappropriate content for ad creators, which is stupid. Again, I don't make money off the channel. If I made money off the channel, every one of my videos would be getting a review for not allowing that kind of crap. Until I start making money off this channel, or until I at least hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm not going to care about those reviews. Or about that whole issue going on. So, again, it's going to come down to who's going to outlast who's going to win the day. And if I'm going to be honest, I think it's possible that Dracula actually outlasts Myotismon. Because at that point, and again, we're going with the most realistic scenario. That's how I kind of always play these fights out. Most realistic scenario, it'd be during the day, I think, where Dracula could know Myotismon's at his weakest. And if he's at half strength, I think Dracula, who has no discernible weakness to exploit, would be the one who has the stronger advantage. Particularly because, unlike the other two Draculas we've gone over, he is actually a fighter and a warrior and knows how. I mean, you take the demon form and Van Helsing into consideration, whatever. But overall, he is a fighter and a warrior and is armed. So I think there's a realistic scenario where Dracula, the Blade Trinity version, takes the majority fight. Now, it's not by a lot, because I think they'd still be pretty evenly matched overall. But I think it'd be like a 60-40, in favor of Dracula in that case. Last Dracula to go over, Dracula Untold Dracula. Dracula, people might not like the Blade Trinity Dracula. this movie didn't help it at all. Now, this one's actually more falling closer to the actual, what's it, name, closer to the actual person, Vlad the Impaler. Well, he starts out as Vlad the Impaler, but, or Vlad Dracula, it means son of the dragon, or devil, as he put it in the movie. But obviously throw in the vampire lore. Now, and when he's at his full power in the as Dracula, he is capable of moving with this. He's capable of, first off, enhanced physical strength. Again, like the Blade Trainee one, he's actually he's a trained warrior, bred and born on the battlefield, pretty much. Capable of superhuman speed, traveling the night, turning into bats and moving, and he took out an entire army on his own in that movie. Capable of turning into bats, capable of summoning a massive army of bats, and doing that whole Castlevania move where he made a giant fist of bats and slammed it onto the battlefield. Capable of some level of weather manipulation, which I found is interesting. So he can actually call the sun out. Unfortunately, he's still not immune to the sun. In fact, he's still got all the basic weaknesses a vampire has, which that would not be a wise thing to do in such a case. And I'm trying to think. He can pretty much fly on his own accord if he wants to. I think he does have some animal manipulation. So yeah, that's Dracula. Now let's say that this is sorry, I have a movie on in the back. Let's say this takes place back in that movie, and Myotismon. Let's say Myotismon was the master vampire or something like that, but he's able to fight and he comes in and targets Dracula already, as Dracula already gave into his thirst for blood. So now they're squaring off, and right off the bat, Dracula comes in with a sword and flies at super speed, and sorry, why don't I just look for the little cameo in this scene right now, and I can't see it. Oh well. So he comes in with his flying with his sword, flushes in, kind of tags Myotismon. Remember, this is nice. So Myotismon's at full power now. So whereas in the last fight, it was a lot. It was actually really concerning for Myotismon. Now it was like more like an irritant, but it's like he still managed to hurt me. It's in the he's flying in. So Grizzly Wing, and then he summons bats, and their bats collide. It's a massive cloud of bats, and Dracula's summoning more bats, and then just whooshing them down, doing a shockwave of bats. Myotismon just waves that aside. Meanwhile, Dracula comes in again, just stabs him in the back, but again, full power, so now it doesn't go in super deep. He's still got a blade sticking out of his back, but it's just Crimson Lightning, and then just nails Dracula. Just she grabs him and just boom, kind of like that scene in Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance where he grabbed him with a chain and then just threw him down, kind of like that. So now Dracula's now, and Myotismon just pulls the blade out. It's like, it's like, you're becoming quite the irritants, Vlad Dracula. It's like son of the devil. It means son of the dragon. And then again summons more bats, and then Grizzly Wing colliding of bats again. It's like, didn't we just do this before? There's nothing new is going to happen from this. And then again he sees that Dracula's disappeared. It's like, huh? And then all of a sudden he reappears out of the bats and just slashes him again on the face, and just his mask cracks a little bit. Now Myotismon's a little pissed, just grabs him, just starts placing the Spear and Trust ability. I'm just calling it that, and just starts running him down. It's like now he's starting to get a little frantic, and just barely able to claw his hand out. All of a sudden, it starts punching him in the face, boom, 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 boom. And I'm barely hitting myself, but I'm not actually hitting myself. He's like, oh man, that would have to hurt. So it's just boom, 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 boom. Myotismon's feeling it. It's more like, it's kind of like how I'm feeling right now. It's like, I'm feeling it. It's kind of annoying, but it's not hurting me. That's kind of how I think Myotismon will react to it a little bit. Just boom, boom, boom. It's like, all right, boom, just throw him down again. It's like, you served your purpose. You freed me, and for that, you will be granted a swift death. And then just grabs him, Crimson Lightning, and then grabs him. It's like, oh. He tries to disappear, but he can't move because he moves with the speed of night, but he still has to be able to move. And then just starts getting almost like burned by the Crimson Lightning. It's like, and then just pulled. This fight is over. And then Goodbye, useful pawn. You were good in this game of chess that we played, but now the fight is over. And then just crushes his skull. So Myotismon, I think, beats the Dracula Untold Dracula majority. I'm going to go 90-10. I think there's a scenario where maybe he'd be able to hit him in the head or something with the blade and kill him. And I think because he has the most abilities of any of these Dracula we've seen, he's got the best chance in terms of doing... In terms of the least... likely, in terms of the best case, in terms of the most realistic scenario, he has the best case chance at night. If it were today, they'd both be screwed. The only one who actually really had, again, let's just recap real quick. Bela Lugosi's Dracula just can't beat Myotismon. Just not the way that Dracula's designed. Van Helsing Dracula, about a 5% chance, I'd say. Overall, he doesn't have any real abilities or advantages over Myotismon in a realistic fight that would make him a serious threat. Not impossible though. So he only in that demon bat form, and only then if he gets like a lucky hit to like just tear his face off or something like that. Dracula Untold. I'm going 90-10. He's got enough abilities and enough battlefield experience that I think he could pull a win off, but it just would not be likely. The only one I think actually beat legitimately, and again in the realistic scenario it takes place in, for me, the most in my mind, is the Blade Trainee Dracula, because that Dracula has no weaknesses to anything, including sunlight. He would target Myotismon when he's weakened during the day. Even though he's a warrior with honor, he also knows that he's treading on his territory and causing a lot of fucking problems. So I think in the most realistic scenario, they fight during the day. Myotismon's at half strength, whereas he can go full out. And physically speaking, I think he's actually the strong. I mean, take the demon vampire thing from from Van Helsing out of the equation. I think he's actually the physically strongest and physically toughest. And again, like the Dracula Untold one, is an actual warrior and fighter with a weapon on call. So I think it's the most likely, but it's also the smallest disparity between. Again, I put that one at 60-40. But hey, let me know if you think differently. If you do, that's cool. Put it in the comments below. If you have ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, what if, magic, anything else I do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. There was a couple cards spoiled for Rivals of Ixalan for Magic that I'm not going to talk about right now. I'll just honestly wait until the actual set starts getting legitimately spoiled. Again, just because Power was out most of yesterday, so you kind of threw off the whole mojo. Anyway, though, thanks for watching. I'll be back later with my last who would win. I got to remember who actually gave me that suggestion. So